This isn't possible. You're alive? Olivia's breath hitched as she stared at the boy in front of her. The dim streetlight flickered, casting long shadows over his frail frame. His wide, frightened eyes held secrets too heavy for a child to bear. The boy hesitated, his voice barely above a whisper. Please, don't take me back to them. A chill ran down Olivia's spine. Who was he running from? And more importantly, why did his face look so familiar? The streets were eerily silent as Olivia Carter trudged home after her night shift at Walker Enterprises. The towering office buildings, symbols of wealth and power, mocked her as she passed. She had spent the last 5 years scrubbing floors, emptying trash cans, and cleaning boardrooms where billionaires made life-changing decisions. But her own life? A constant struggle. She had become a single mother when Lily was just a year old. Her ex-husband had walked out on them, leaving Olivia to fend for herself. There had been nights when she cried herself to sleep, afraid she wouldn't have enough to put food on the table. Still, she had pushed forward, determined to give her daughter a better life. As she rounded a corner near the grocery store, something caught her attention, a small shadow moving near a dumpster, a child. Olivia's heart clenched as she saw a boy, no older than 10, rummaging through the garbage, his thin hands grabbing a stale piece of bread. "Hey, sweetheart," she said gently, stepping forward. The boy flinched, clutching the bread as if she might steal it. His clothes were tattered, his face smudged with dirt. "It's okay," Olivia reassured him. "Are you lost?" The boy hesitated before whispering, "I ran away." A chill ran down Olivia's spine. From where? The boy swallowed hard. "A bad man took me." A wave of fear crashed over Olivia. "Kidnapped?" She knelt beside him, keeping her voice steady. "What's your name, sweetheart?" The boy's lips trembled. "Ethan." A flicker of recognition stirred in her memory, but she couldn't place it. Looking around, she felt an uneasy sensation like someone was watching. "Come with me," Olivia said gently. "I promise you'll be safe." After a long pause, Ethan nodded. Olivia took his hand and led him home. That night, after feeding Ethan and giving him clean clothes, Olivia tucked him into the spare mattress in her small apartment. She sat on the couch, her mind racing. Who was he? And who had taken him? The next morning, she did the only thing she could. She took Ethan to the police station. Detective Harris, a gruff-looking officer, listened carefully as Olivia explained what had happened. His eyes darkened. "You may have just saved a life, Miss Carter," he said. "A missing child report matching his description has been active for weeks." Olivia's breath hitched. "Weeks?" The detective took Ethan's fingerprints and ran them through the system. Within minutes, a red alert flashed on the screen. Harris's expression hardened. He turned the screen toward Olivia. There, under missing persons, was the name Ethan Blackwood, son of billionaire Alexander Blackwood. Olivia's heart stopped. A billionaire's son? Ethan looked just as confused. "His father has been searching for him desperately," Harris explained. "We've already contacted him. He's on his way." Olivia's unease deepened. If Ethan had been missing for so long, why hadn't anyone found him? And why did he still look afraid? That evening, Olivia was preparing dinner when a sharp knock shook her apartment door. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Standing before her was a tall man in an impeccably tailored suit. His piercing blue eyes scanned the room like a predator assessing its surroundings. Behind him stood 2 uniformed police officers. Even without an introduction, Olivia knew who he was, Alexander Blackwood, the billionaire. But right now, he looked nothing like the cold businessman she had seen on magazine covers. He looked like a man on the edge of despair. Ethan appeared beside Olivia, his eyes widening. "Dad?" The billionaire sucked in a sharp breath. His polished exterior shattered as he knelt, pulling Ethan into his arms. "Oh my God, Ethan!" His voice cracked. "I thought I lost you forever." Ethan clung to him. "I was so scared, Dad." Alexander held his son tightly, his jaw tightening before turning his gaze to Olivia. "You saved my son." His voice was raw with emotion. "I just did what anyone would do," Olivia replied. But before anyone could say more, Ethan suddenly pulled away. "Wait!" His voice trembled. "Where's Uncle Stephen?" A dark shadow passed over Alexander's face. His expression shifted from relief to something dangerous. "He took you?" he asked. His voice barely controlled rage. Ethan nodded. "He said, He wanted money from you. A deadly silence filled the room. One of the officers stiffened. We need to move quickly, he said. Stephen Blackwood is known for illegal dealings. If he's still out there, this could be far from over. Alexander straightened, his entire demeanor changing. Take Ethan to my estate, he ordered. I'll handle this myself. Handle what? Olivia wondered. Days passed. Olivia returned to her normal routine, believing her part in the story was over, until another knock came at her door. This time it was Alexander. Alone. Miss Carter, he said, his voice unreadable. I need to talk to you. Olivia stepped aside, letting him in. Is Ethan okay? Alexander nodded. He's safe. But I need to tell you something. He took a deep breath. Stephen wasn't just after money. He wanted to take my company. He planned to use Ethan as leverage, force me to sign over my shares. Olivia shivered. So what happens now? Alexander's piercing gaze softened. Now I want to help you. Olivia blinked. Help me? He reached into his pocket and pulled out a key. This is for your new apartment. He placed a second envelope on the table. And this is a job offer. Olivia's breath caught. A job, not just any job, a permanent position at Walker Enterprises. She stared at him, overwhelmed. Why are you doing this? Alexander held her gaze. Because people like you deserve better. You didn't just find my son, you gave him kindness when he had no one. Tears pricked Olivia's eyes. She had struggled for so long, never expecting anything in return. Now, because of one act of kindness, her life was about to change. Finally, she whispered, Okay, I accept. And in that moment, her life took a turn she never expected. Because sometimes fate rewards those with the kindest hearts, and sometimes it brings people together for reasons they don't yet understand.